Not today. I'm not in a love boat mood. Stop feeling the love boat. Imagine how bad is that? Kev not feeling the love boat. Ah, what's wrong? We're out of here, folks. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo.
You're now watching Malia Grimm. Hi, everyone. How are we doing? I'm getting going here and saying happy birthday to the captain. And I have a special guest with me tonight. Let me get, there we go. Now we can hear and not hear all my noise. And we are on board my starship over here called the Dramata. And I have Captain Doc Skinner with me on board his starship, the Araya. Let's bring him in. Hi there, Cap.
Howdy. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Sorry.
Now, I have I
I had
have
a
a trip.
ghost there, so sorry.
Go ahead. Ooh,
I had to get rid of a ghost.
ooh,
So
nice.
anyway,
It's always a good thing to start the
oh yeah,
broadcast off with a ghost.
yeah. And I'm just following my trademark of every show's a little. Nothing seems to work right. There we go. All right, get that out of the way. How are you tonight?
Good, good, good. And having a lot of fun. We're having kind of a birthday party, a little bit, a remembrance of a birthday party over here.
Yeah,
And but yeah, it's a good thing. And in Scotland, we have lots of laughs and make sure and smile when we're remembering people that we loved, for sure, right?
absolutely.
So, speaking of Scotland, I have a trip coming up in which I'm going to do a tour of some of the more so called haunted locations. And wanted to, you mentioned Scotland being a place that you really want to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to ask you what you thought would be like some good locations that you would for sure not miss while you were there. So go ahead, take yours.
Well, the main thing. Let me turn this up. There we go. The main thing that I wanted to go do was check out Rosalind's Chapel because something I don't know if it was a story or a video I saw, but something came up about these cubes that are along the archways in the interior of Rosalind's Chapel, which has a lot of folklore behind it, with the Knights Templars and many other stories. But this just grabbed me. And each of these they're like little alphabet blocks that are concrete, all in the archways of this church. And on each side of each block are these patterns. And for years, no one could unlock what it meant. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, I'm kind of getting into cymatics lately, which is the study of sound and frequencies, because that has a lot to do with a lot of things. So I thought, well, what if these symbols are actually images of frequency patterns? So if you were to take these frequencies or these notes and you play them in a certain order or pattern, it might open up a portal, you know. So I then was like, I want to do a big tour, you know, take all my viewers with me and maybe a couple speakers, um, you know, maybe check out some castles, do some ghost hunting, talk to UFO experiencers, things like that, and then have my viewers get to be on camera and talk about what happened that day, what we learned, you know, bring them on board.
Yeah, speaking of your show, do you want to really quickly just talk about that a second and your show and what you're doing over there at 1028 Productions?
Yeah, so 1028 Productions is my and entertainment, or excuse me, 1028 Productions and Entertainment LLC is my company, and you know, I do production work. And several years ago, there was an incident with a police standoff and a shootout, really. And so I had covered that, and locals here in town wanted me to start covering news. So that kind of turned into a podcast show. It was originally locally, you know, local stories, and then it kind of just spread out to worldwide. And then I think that was around the time I started putting together Disclosure Con, which is sci-fi and sci
Yeah, what's
reality.
Disclosure Con?
Yeah, sci-fi and sci reality basically colliding under one roof. Um, I've been in the movie entertainment industry, shoot, you know, movies, TV, film, stage, theme parks, SeaWorld, Disney, George Lucas have done the gamut. And shoot, where was I going with this? I'm like thinking way ahead in the story, and then I jumped over myself. Where was I?
Talking about the first the blocks, the cubes,
Oh,
and their
yes.
sound frequencies,
And then how I've been in the entertainment industry, okay, and how I got into all this. So yeah, so I've been in the business for a long time. So I look at how movies and TV, film, books, novels, magazine articles, whatever, are ways that the powers that be that are playing this game tell us, the opponent, what they're going to do before they do it. And so much of it has come true that we've seen in films. I mean, looking at Star Trek's always the one I go to first, is because most people recognize that. A lot of the technology that we saw in those old series in the 60s and 70s, is technology we have today. So you see movies like James Bond, or where you see this really cool high-tech stuff, right? And you only see in the James Bond movie, and then a year later, boom, now you start seeing it in the real world. It's just their way of telling us. It's a really, really twisted rule that they have. We got to, because they know a lot of us aren't going to get it. The ones that eyes are open, we're going to see it and go, something's about to happen. So I used that as a reference to get, who was it? It was Travis Walton, actually. I'm friends with him and his son, and they live up in this area. And we were going to put together this little event, just him speaking. And within days, I've got all these big names calling me: Mike Barrett from Ancient Aliens, Brooks Agnew, Laura Eisenhower, Paul Sterry, all these people. And they're like, they wanted to be a part of this event. Next thing you know, it turns into this 2-day extravaganza. And once that happened, boom, I'm like in the circle, and, they're all huge in comparison to the little old me. I consider myself kind of like the Johnny Carson of the supernatural and ufology world. I'm still bringing you stuff, but I'm making you giggle, And I have some great guests that come on. I had Tony Rodriguez from the Secret Space program. I had Carlos Carrasco, acting legend, who was in the movie Speed with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
That was a great show. I was there. That was a lot of fun.
And I learned a lot about it because because I'm in the entertainment industry, I have celebrity friends. And how I have celebrity friends is because I don't treat them like celebrities. They're just my friends. And so sometimes I forget, or not even aware of, how really famous some of them are. Like Carlos, that was a surprise. I knew about this movie that he had been in. I did not know it was like the godfather of, the Mexican mafia. Basically, it was the creation of the Mexican mafia, and he was in this movie about this true story. And so everywhere he goes, he's known as this character named Popeye, who's this prisoner in the film, and he can go through any bravado, and no one would touch him. He has that much respect. It's kind of like the guy who played in The Godfather. Anyway, he could walk through an Italian village, and he'd be like, it's the dude from The Godfather. So it's kind of like that. And doing that show with him, it was a lot of fun, because I realized I'm very fortunate to know this guy. He's awesome. But anyway, I have great guests. I have comedians, I have actors, I have scientists, I have ufologists, researchers. I bring on other podcasters like you're doing with me tonight, which is really, really the way that I don't want to say our generation, because we're a bunch of different age groups that podcast these days, but I would say the generation of podcasting. Okay. This is not tooting horns or anything, but the way it's going, we're going to be the next big thing. We're already on the way. You know, it was celebrities in the movies, it was the Tom, Cruise and Hanks and Brad Pitt and all of them, and they still will be. But because of all the scandals going on with adrenochrome and trafficking, all this stuff, and all the celebrities being involved in this nasty shit. Oh, wait, are we free to speak here? Can I slipped up. I said the S word.
No, don't worry about it.
I'm
It's
not in
totally
trouble.
fine here. That was fine. Like I dropped an F-bomb even on my own thing.
My show
don't mean to.
But
you're good. I try to keep it clean, but I do.
Okay, I will make the effort. Sorry, that one slipped.
No
so anyway, people aren't trusting the big celebs. They're losing the endorsement of fans for one political view or another, or if they're in a scandal. It's just gotten so bad that people don't trust the government, they don't trust law enforcement, they don't trust the actors that are there, even if they're unknowingly doing it or unwillingly. They are doing the bidding of the powers that be to manipulate the public. I mean, look at every single major event that goes on in this world. Who are the first on TV? The celebrities, and they all wear matching white t-shirts or logos, and they all say the exact same thing, but some editor like me is going to sit there and take all of them and line them all up together, and they're going to go chop 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 and put it all together, and it looks like they're all in sync with each other. They're all of the same hive mind on this, and it just disgusts me. It really does, because most of them are just freaking hypocrites. And people are catching on. And that's why I moved to a small mountain town, because I was wanted out of the industry. But when this incident happened on 2016 election night, there was this standoff, boom, I was right back in the light again. Everybody on the mountain knew me. So I was like, well, okay, I'll use my powers for good and try to educate, inform people, make them laugh, that kind of thing. So anyway, yeah, so that's the I cover a bunch of stuff in the shows, and I think all the different platforms. I'm around 600-700 shows in the past couple of years. I'm just
yeah, you got a good number out there.
And then we got
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then I got to I was the one that broke the story on the head of MUFON that got arrested for doing some naughty stuff, and not realizing I was the first to break it. I just thought I was, first on my show to do it, no big deal. But I get a call a few days later from Blake and Brent Cousins from the #1 UFO channel on YouTube called Third Phase of Moon. And they said, "Hey, Doc, how's it going?" I'm like, "I'm fine." And they said, do you know you broke that story on the MUFON director? I'm like, I did? Like, yeah. I was like, well, I kind of thought maybe, but I didn't really think so. Like, you did. So do you want to come be on our team? So boom, next thing you know, I'm on Third Phase of Moon. I'm a panelist, and then we're doing a huge number documentary films, #2 on Amazon for like 3 months with Countdown to Disclosure. And then we did Who Saw the Men in Black, which I get to play Men in Black in that one. And then we did Above Top Secret. And these are like with huge names like Dr. Stephen Greer, who created the disclosure movement back in, was it 01 or 2? Somewhere. And anyway, he was there with a bunch of reporters, a bunch of witnesses, credible witnesses, military, FAA, heads of FAA, heads of this, head of that. And it was the most viewed thing on C-SPAN's history because it was just massive. He's done a lot of goodness for the community. He helped bring upon the whole CE5 events where people are going out and they're doing their meditations and they're seeing, ships are coming down and talking and blinking and all this stuff in there. No, just the record. I'm not one that does all that. I don't do meditation. I don't do the, any of that. I'm just a dude. And when I get hurt, I get duct tape, super glue, don't go to the doctor. That's me. I'm becoming the mountain man up here. So, I haven't got into all that. And no, it works for so many people, and I'm so happy for people. I wish it would work for me, but I have minute Asperger's syndrome. So, brain just doesn't shut off. And, so I do a lot of different things. So yes. Scotland. Let's get back to Scotland. Now that everybody knows who I am.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I actually bought a couple plots of land, and I am
I
officially.
want to talk about that.
I'm officially Sir Doc Skinner. Yes.
Because you own land in Scotland.
I do.
So, like, where's land at? Where did you pick a spot, or just randomly grab one, or what happened?
They've got a bunch of huge spots, and you get that, then you get the title ship. You can put it on your passport, your driver's license, and now that I just got that, I want to see if I can get a new passport and get my driver's license updated, because if I go to Scotland and I'm at the airport and they see Sir Doc Skinner, they're like, oh shit, want to upgrade, sir? Yeah, I do. I really do. I have never flown first class, but I thought, what a great way to get in there. Just kind of slide in. They had a couple extra seats.
That would work. That might even actually get it. I don't know.
I've been told, I've been told that's so. I was like, get it. So I got land for all my family members. So now my mom, my stepdad, my grandma, they're all lords and ladies. So that was a lot of fun to do. So you're on mute.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, okay.
I just kind of lost my headphone too there a minute. But so I am.
Oh
well. Go ahead.
Now I'm going to write this down, because I'll get. I told you, the brain all the time, so so I don't forget it, because if I don't say it within a few seconds, it's gone. But I was going to say that after doing all this research and wanting to work with Steve and Nigel, who did the Cymatics music video with the lightning and chain suit and all that stuff, meet with him because he's in France. I actually spoke with him about coming to Disclosure Con 2 years ago. And if you don't know Steve and Nigel, Nigel, I think, or Ale, look up Cymatics, and it is awesome. I almost cursed. But so
it's okay. Seriously, it happens a lot around here.
Well, they say people that curse are very intelligent. So
well, the thinking people, because really the F-bomb has
a
20
million
different
meanings.
uses.
Oh God!
At least it works for everything.
I can slip that in anywhere.
I know, and I'm a sailor. I was in the Navy wife for 4 years. Up in Washington and Bremerton, and so I spent a lot of time on the base.
You
kind of learn to talk like a sailor.
Yeah, I come from a family of pilots, so I got a language and a lot of insider stuff.
Yeah. I would love to talk about that with you, actually.
Okay.
Not right now, but
I just want to say this so that people don't think that I'm the dude that came up with this creative. I thought I was. I thought, dude, this could be. I don't have a book. I don't have a jack squat to sell. Maybe I could be the one that figured this out.
I know, right?
And I'm sitting there and I'm going through it, and lo and behold, because NSA loves to mess with you because they watch you folks. They do. I'm sitting there talking about it, and guess what came up as a suggestion on my Amazon Prime? The music of the Mystic Cubes of Rosalind's Chapel. I'm like, mother. So I ordered it.
No.
I ordered it. I figured maybe if I read it and I'll figure something out. They didn't figure it out, but
yeah. Well, speaking of those music squares, I want to say that too, because when I was down in Yucatan, we were looking at Chichen Itza. And I was working with a guy who had this theory that every block represented a frequency and had a sound. And then according to every block, like the length of the blocks, like a guitar chord, you could make an orchestral score from that. Right. And so they did it with a guy from Venice and conductor of an orchestra and stuff, and they sat there and they played it in 2012 in Chichen Itza, and it was phenomenal. Like
Wow.
after I heard that, it was like, okay, this is how they did this. It had to have been sound frequency that they put those tones together.
Well, the monks, they do this thing where they will have a horseshoe of drums and then a horseshoe of these long, Ricola kind of tubes, like not a didgeridoo. I know what a didgeridoo. This is the things you see in Holland, those big, long, big, looks like it looks like Bilbo Baggins' pipe,
it
basically.
Is, seriously.
And so
like his grandfather's pipe, right?
Right. So they put them all in a certain pattern around like a large boulder. And this was actually witnessed by a reporter a long time ago. They didn't allow him to take photos, so he had to draw everything and write it all out. And then they would have other monks around that. It was like, like a choir, but of instruments. Yeah, like it was basically like an orchestra of these percussion instruments and then the horns. And then the guys going, going at, different levels of humming frequencies. And they would control this massive boulder to lift off the ground and then go up and then set up on top of the cliff. And so people would think, oh, well, that's just fucking, that's hot. That's just poppycock. And it really isn't. There is a professor. Oh, well, why is it whenever you're telling a story, you forget the names right off the bat? The Hodgkin's effect. No, Hutchison effect. Hutchison effect. Thank you. Dr. Hutchison.
Yeah.
He was able to, and he's proved it over and over and over again. He's been rated by the FBI. He's had stuff taken, then he rebuilt stuff, and he just keeps going. He's eccentric, but brilliant. He is actually, why the hell have I not had Dr. Hutchison on my show? I am sorry. I'm having one of those moments.
Richard Allen Miller. You've got to get Richard Allen for Miller Time.
It's always Miller Time.
Miller Time.
Yeah. All right, so
that'd be a great show.
Oh no! Okay. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Let's zoom in. All right. So Dr. Hutchison, in his garage with a bunch of crazy ass laboratory gear, doing frequencies and harmonics and stuff, he can have objects sitting on this wooden table, and he can levitate them and control it. He can levitate it slowly and stop. He can make them spin. And then he can have like buckets of paint or glass of liquid, and he can control just the liquid to come out as if that was upside down and it was kind of gooey, but it's going up into the ceiling. So, and you don't believe me, look it up on YouTube, watch the videos yourself. Some of them are very old, from like the 80s and 90s, but it's still freaking amazing. And I am just kicking myself in the rear right now thinking, why have I not had him on my show? Hopefully he's still alive. But yes, that's a Hutchison effect, and that's the controlling of stuff with sound and frequency. They have other they actually have like Sky Mall magazine always has that cool stuff, gifts in there that's just like unique. Well, they have these lamps that is like a plastic dish with a rod and then another dish above it. And you can take little drops of water and you can make a little chain of dots of water that just levitate there. And you can make them spin and stuff. And that's cool for your office and whatnot. But on a grander scale, you can do so much with this. And I believe that with sound, you could literally tear, open the fabric of space and time and open to another dimension or another universe. Why do I think this? Because, well, the powers that be have been telling us it's possible for years through movies. What is the biggest thing right now in Marvel universe? Multi-universes and parallel universes. They're pounding us with all of this, because that information is going to be coming out. Why are they doing it? It's because if it just comes out, people are going to freak. How do they know this? Because that's what the Halloween evening with the War of the Worlds was all about. It was a gigantic test to see how people would react if we had aliens come down. And it didn't turn out so well. People committed suicide. Farmers were shooting up things in the sky, thinking they were. I mean, it was bad. And so people go, why is the government so secretive about stuff? Well, it's kind of part of it is for the safety of America, because not everybody's got stuff figured out. So they trickle it out. They trickle it out through movies. That's why Spielberg got inside information on different encounters. That's why the movie was so impactful on people's lives, because people connected to it, because it was stories of real life events that multiple people have had. That's why he had J. Allen Hynek, who was the head of Project Blue Book and was hired to dismiss everything. But then he found out this shit's real. And so he started helping, people prove that it's real. And so when he gave inside information about this one in particular event where Eisenhower met with a ship, came down, they had their meeting, they made their deals, and they did a swap. They sent 12 people in exchange for a couple of their grays or aliens to stay with us to share information. We sent 12 people there. And that story is what is implemented in the movie Close Encounters, where it is done so almost subliminally. And have you seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yeah, definitely.
You have. All right. Yeah. Then just to refresh your memory, it's time they're going to meet our friends, right? So you see these 12 people, it was men and women, in red jumpsuits with sunglasses, with straight faces. First, you see them in the auditorium when they're talking to the audience, going doo 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 with the hand signals, right? And you see them in the back of the auditorium, just the row of them. Nothing's ever said. It's just kind of off in the distance. And most people completely miss it. Then later, you see them all together, and a minister is giving them blessings, but it's in the middle of a bunch of chaos. So people dismiss that. Then it gets to the part where they're all getting on board this bus. And one of the guys goes, man, if I only had the opportunity to go do what these people are about to do. But it's dismissed. It's so quietly subdued in the movie, unless you are really paying attention. I mean, it's there. You hear the lines, but it's so abstract to the rest of the movie. People usually don't connect that. And so, and then you see them, they're all got their bags and they're going to get on board. And what happens? They end up taking them, but they also grab Richard Dreyfuss. And yeah, all that stuff was based off of factual stories. Now, some of it, you got Hollywood. They're going to give it a little bit of Hollywood. For example, Fire in the Sky about Travis Walton. Paramount Pictures did that movie, a bunch of big names in that. And it was a box office hit. But you talk to Travis Walton today, he'll tell you, when he was on the ship, he didn't crawl into a pod and there was a half body that was being dissolved. He says, none of that happened. He says, when they found me on the roadside, I wasn't naked and covered in goo. Hollywood has to put on the extra stuff that's not real.
The gross factor.
For the selling of the tickets. Exactly. Right. But it also gives them or anybody that's questioned about these movies the opportunity to say, hey, it's fiction. Because that's where a switch goes in our head. We're like, oh, okay, it's fiction. It's not real. And they know that because we're programmed for that. Well, the people that are still asleep are. And so it's a big manipulation, and big things are coming. And I want to go to Scotland.
I know. I know.
I want to, and I
So
want to
rad.
get, I want to get a castle. I want to get not purchase one, but I want to get while
What
we're
castle?
there.
What castle? Like, if you're gonna get a castle, which one are you gonna get?
Well, here's the cool thing: people don't know, on Airbnb in Scotland and Ireland, up at the type of cottages, house, apartments, they have castles. And you click on it, and you can get like 2 bedrooms or 2 rooms, 2 or 4 bedrooms or something for like $150 a night.
Good to talk to you.
Yeah, no, just go on Airbnb Scotland. It'll blow your freaking mind. And plan your trip like that. But what I wanted to do is for my 50th next year in 2023 is I want to get a castle that has maybe like 10, 15 rooms that we can get with a big ballroom, and then have a Disclosure Con Scotland 2023 and have some big name speakers like Laura Eisenhower and some others. And have them speak in Scotland, and we could do little tours. I mean, it's my 50th. I want to be a king for a day. When you hit 50, it's either a midlife crisis or you get to be a king for a day. So,
buy an island.
Right. God, if I had the money. I actually DJ'd on Carnival Cruise Lines for about 6 months.
Little tiny
And
island off of Scotland.
Well, it only did the Virgin Islands, the ships I was on, but I was scouting out islands. It was like I was like James Bond. I was working undercover as a DJ on a cruise ship, but by day I was scouting for my retirement home. And no, I'd love to just be on an island. Be on an island as long as it's got Wi-Fi. I'm good. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. Family, of course, kids, sheep outside, and but I'm happy with where I'm at in the beautiful bottom of the Rocky Mountains, known as the White Mountains, and it's really nice here. So, but yeah, Scotland, I have been told that's part of my heritage, and I just feel pulled to it. And
how would you say it's part of your heritage? Like, what kind of?
Oh, family bloodline. Yeah, I got a lot of European in my bloodline. But yeah, I've always been pulled to go over there. Especially ever since Highlander came out when I was a kid.
Right.
There can be only one. Connor MacLeod, the Clan MacLeod. And I would, I would love to go there, and I'd also love to go to New Zealand, and check that out. Now I know all of my Australian viewers probably pissed I said that, because I was also going to say I want to go to Australia because I have a lot of viewers in Australia. Yeah, a lot of invitations, and it's just I'm just waiting for everything to die down. I don't want to have to get on a plane or get out of an airport by having to do that, because I don't have that. And so, I'm still here. I'm still standing. And this is crazy. I didn't realize I was sitting on a gold vault, but they're saying that unvaxxed sperm is going for like $5,000. I'm like, where's the Oompa Loompas? Let's get this factory going.
Just join the Viagra commercial and you'll be good.
Right? It's like, I got shit to pay off. Let's do this.
You definitely get a bunch of little kids running around everywhere.
Oh, don't say that. No. I said Oompa Loompas. They're just vertically challenged adults that are from another world.
Little people. Yeah.
Vertically challenged.
Yeah, little people. They're the best.
No, because I've always wanted to have a little person as a friend, because there's always room for a little person.
Yeah, little people are the best. Hey, watch it. I'm only 5'4", so I count as little people.
Well, you're like a couple inches from your membership card. Dude, it's so badass. 2 ships talking. I love this. It's so cool.
It's so fun. Like I'm having these total like we're meeting in the stars, like kind of thing, and here's these starships, and here we go. And mine is totally in like I've got the what is it?
You got the
What's that movie?
communication bay.
Oh my gosh.
Looks
Okay,
like
well,
yeah. What movie?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe because I'm inside
Oh,
my RV.
nice. But you gotta always have your towel. Always have your towel. The
Don't
towel will
forget Tally.
save.
We never forget Tally. Oh my god.
So yeah, no, that's another great movie. And here you, I don't know. I mean, we were talking about Scotland, but you brought me on, and I go all over the place like a hurricane. So,
Awesome. Me too.
you talk about 2012 earlier.
Mhm.
Let me throw. I don't know how if you've seen all what shows you've seen of mine, but I covered something to this effect.
A few.
There's this theory that in 2012 we all died, and all of our consciousnesses, necessities, were all uploaded to a quantum-driven galactic computer system. And we are living in the Matrix right now. And that's why the movie The Matrix, it was kind of like the real Morpheus team using the movie to get to the masses, to find the people that would be awake, the Neos, right? And so we're living in a simulation. Okay. Now this is where it's going to get really creepy and dangerous. Now, because if we're living in a simulation, here we are with Zitberger and his metaverse, right? Yeah, Zitberger. And so I don't want you.
Name.
I don't want you to get banned like I did. So
I already did. Trust me, I already did.
I mean,
like multiple times. This
yes.
time, Facebook is like, "Oh, we don't know who you are yet," but now they know who I am. So
it's like, well, bitch, I know who I am. Anyway, so
exactly.
So here's the scary thing, and I don't know. I don't preach. I mean, sometimes I'll read some verses and kind of decipher it for people, and in today's events, like the Book of Revelations that we're in right now. But what I see happening is here we are in this virtual world. It's 3D, and we're dead, but we're uploaded to this machine, and now we have Zitberger starting his own metaverse within this matrix. Okay, now we're living in the end days, the Antichrist, all that stuff. Whether you guys want to believe it or not, that's okay. It believes in you, just like Satan. So what if Satan decides that his whole part in the Book of Revelations, which is the mark of the beast and chop your head off if you don't take it, it could be hard, even for him, to really try to control the masses, one by one, by getting each individual to take the mark, which is on the hand or the forehead, which, by the way, is it NEG, the cell phone company? NEC, the head of NEC, does all the towers, said by 2030, these little bad boys will be null and void, extincto, and everything will be implanted, either in the right hand or in the forehead. And anybody that knows the Book of Revelations, that will ring a bell. Now, how would you get so many people to line up to do this? Because there's going to be us rebels, they're going to fight against it. So what's the best way to do it? You create your own metaverse, and you get everybody so enthralled into it that that's life. Then you have generations that are born into that, and then that's all they know. Just like Ready Player One. Same scenario. Why they put the movie out? Because they're letting you know where we're headed. People like,
That's
oh,
a really good. That's a
that-
really good analogy. Actually,
yeah, they're just like, oh, it's just a sci-fi movie. It's fiction. It's Disney. It's make believe. Disney. I have a friend who works at Disney, and I don't think she's probably watching this show right now. She's probably at work, so I can say this. Disney's very freaking evil, people. Evil. I worked for the Happy Mafia. It's awful. And they put out fun stuff when you're a kid. Go back and watch some of the stuff you watch. Watch Pinocchio. Have you seen Pinocchio? Am I shattering your childhood? I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
not at all. Oh my gosh.
But
no.
Pinocchio, you know what Pinocchio's all about? You know what Pinocchio's about trafficking? It's all about trafficking. And
that nose getting longer.
Right. Well,
it's so gross. It's so gross.
it's I mean, that's why they say in the island where boys go and don't come back as boys, because they were raped and all that. So Disney is very dark. Fantasia, for crying out loud, is dark. Night on Bald Mountain. I mean, Jesus, why would you show a 4-year-old that, for crying out loud? But that's
why would you
Disney.
show a 4-year-old The Little Mermaid?
Oh yeah,
The Little Mermaid. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Any I mean, because when you know that every one of those movies has got subliminals in it.
No.
All of them have subliminal messages. Every single one of them. Why? Because there's those certain kind of people that work for the company, and they do the art, they do the graphics, and they slip that stuff in subliminally in every one of their movies. And so it's anyway. But now that they got Marvel and everything, and they bought up everything. Oh, we got people.
Can I say hi to my little chat over here?
Absolutely.
We've got Cat in a bird cage here, and Sid Rich. Sid Rich is my friend from Norway. He lives in Norway.
Hello, Norway.
He's a Viking through and through. And
I'm not, but I respect Vikings.
A good friend. So he's usually throwing around a sidle or two, and
nice.
chucking axes. And
I would never say I'm Viking blood, because I'm not. But I'll tell you, I think Vikings are badass.
Right.
They're like, yeah. I would love to. Actually, I would love to go up that way. Norway and then Amsterdam, Sweden, all those places. And that's why when you were talking about Scotland too, I was just, man, it'd be so cool. But
right.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So where were we? Movies, yes, and craziness and CERN. CERN, you know about Mandela effects, correct? Would you like to know?
Of course. We were just on the show a couple of nights ago talking about some Mandela effects, like the Costco thing and different stuff. Now, I have my own opinion about what's going on with Mandela effect.
Okay.
And I think it has a lot to do with English people not knowing Hebrew, actually. And because a lot of the biblical Mandela effects are like easily translation changes or differences in English itself, because the translation of the text itself, like much of Hebrew has like plurality, and so you can make it plural, but it still has singularity depending on its context.
Okay, I'm cool that you're talking about this. Let me draw something. I want to show you if you know Hebrew. Then
yeah.
Okay, so I think this is.
Wait, let me make you big. Let me make you big.
Sorry, I have to turn off my camera's AI, so it wants to follow me. All right, so that's actually.
I can't see.
Yeah, it looks like a 1.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that. It's Gimel.
And what's the number?
That's Gimel. That's number 3.
It's number 3. Then maybe I'm doing it backwards. Okay. Oh no, I am doing it backwards.
Yeah, it's backwards. I was going to say that's backwards. That's a mirror image of it.
So anyway, God, this sucks. Anyway, the monster drink logo.
Okay, that's the thought.
The Vought, yes, the Vought, and I was told that it's 666.
Yeah.
And so people get that shit tattooed on them. You know?
But see, it's not really truly the Vav, because that's the Vav in Aramaic. It's not, and it's the Vav in modern Hebrew, which it's not the same in the Paleo, which is what you wrote. That's actually the game of the three.
I'm not an expert at it. I just tried to do it from memory. Well, anyway, so stuff like that makes me just question a lot of stuff. But anywho,
Oh yeah. I think, well, Mandela effect. Okay, so Mandela effect too. We don't have any reported cases since 2012.
Really?
Before
I was just
2012. Nobody noticed
no,
it
yeah.
before 2012. Because Nelson Mandela coined the name, right?
Well, he didn't coin it, but yeah, it was about him because he died in prison, and then they did the collider, and all of a sudden he's alive again, and he's running for president. So that was like a big thing. Now here's one that just happened since they turned it on a couple weeks ago. Spell double stuffed Oreo for me. Just double stuff, or just stuff. Spell stuff.
Okay, but stuff. Oh, did you watch the movie Stuff? Do you know that movie?
No. I'm talking about double stuffed Oreo cookies.
STUFF.
That's right. That's what we've seen since we were kids. Double stuffed.
Mm-hmm.
Since they turned on the collider 2 weeks ago or a week ago, whenever it was, all of a sudden now it's Oreo double stuff with one F.
Oh.
I mean, like that. I mean, because I had double stuffed Oreos in my cabinet 2 weeks before, and it was 2 Fs. And I'm so pissed I threw it away because I wouldn't have thought of it. But I wish I kept it.
Yeah.
To see if it changed.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are messing with things, and because the CERN collider is just a gigantic magnet that's stronger than the gravitational pull of the Earth and the Sun. And when they turn it on, it pulls and it just distorts the electromagnetosphere that's a bubble around us. And it becomes this big, spiky, weird spike ball instead of a smooth bubble. And when that happens, it causes earthquakes. It allows solar flares from the sun to penetrate lower than it should, even close to the ground, causing power outages and EMPs. It's just, it's a mess. It's a mess. You're on.
All right. So, speaking of CERN and the Hadron Collider and Mandela, what about the Costco thing? Have you heard about this Costco change?
COSTCO?
Right.
Right.
Where others remember it being without the T. Do you remember it being without the T ever? Always with a T.
Ooh, hold on now. Costco. Something's telling me maybe, but I strongly lean towards Costco because I remember it came out after Sam's Warehouses started coming out.
Okay.
Costco. Jesus, I think it was Costco. I don't think there was a T. Holy crap. Or is this psychological thing that I've convinced myself that it is in 10 seconds? I don't know.
No way. I had to go drive by because after somebody told me about it, Propagate This Light, a guy I bring on and does some talks and stuff with me.
Well,
he has a channel and does Mandela effects too. And Costco, I drove by it and I was like, wait, the T there is not right. It's not right.
I'm conflicted on this because when I was a young kid and we would go, I feel like I'm seeing the sign without the T. But seeing it recently in the past 10 years, you've seen the T, and that's after 2012. Right. So being accustomed to it, it would feel normal. But that's what I noticed. After they turned on CERN, a lot of marketing and promotions and logos and labels changed.
Right.
And there's just no way all the advertising agencies out there, marketing agents, all got together and said, "Hey, this is the year we're gonna fuck with everybody's
Right.
head and
Right. It
change all
doesn't
of our
make any
logos
sense.
and spellings. And where do we have apostrophe, or who
Yeah.
does he have the monolens and Monopoly? You know, it's God. I believe we all chose to be here for these days, and to bear witness to what is to come. And I feel like Kirk Cameron Left Behind. Let's bring it on. Come on, Satan.
Left Behind. Yeah.
Yeah, the original was better. Don't go see.
Yeah.
Don't see the Nick Nolte or whatever it was. That was just awful. What else? What else? It's your show. I'm sorry.
No, thank you. Thank
This
you.
is
I'm
show.
just kind of
This
letting
is
you go because you just jabber away. I love
yeah. Kind of. Yeah, it's years of doing it. I did radio for a long time, so
Yeah.
you learn how to fill the dead air so you don't have dead air and get fired. So
Right.
blah, 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 blah. And
Stay on track here.
sometimes I you know how Beyonce would go, I just let the spirit of Sasha Fierce enter me before I go on stage. That shit's real.
Oh my
That
gosh.
shit is
Have you ever-
real.
Ooh, that's a question. Have you ever looked into like the reverse speech stuff?
Oh,
Like
with
Beyonce and AOC and stuff?
no, but I got to meet David Adair, the creator of reverse speech. He was the he discovered it and started it.
Yeah, I
Met
know
him
you.
at a 1999 survivalist prepper expo, or no, it was a Y2K convention expo. And so everybody was worried, the end of the world was 1999, going into 2000, Y2K. And God, if you think about it, from there on, all the end of the world we've lived together so far, all these we've survived so many end of the worlds and monkeypox and unicorn piss and
oh my gosh, all of it. Unicorn piss.
That's why I believe we're in a matrix that's controlled.
Unicorns.
And deja vu is basically a glitch where two dimensions are colliding for a brief moment. Yeah. So it has that familiarity, but it's like that universe is just a few seconds ahead of ours. So it gives that feeling of psychic ability, like, oh, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. Aha, birdcage. Katina.
Yeah,
Katina.
And Sid Bitch, I didn't see you. I didn't see you come in. So if you want to come back in, that's fine. But we are about to close it up here. We're coming on an hour, and I know I told you we would take about an hour, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I mean, I love the discussion. I hope that you come back and we can do this again. This is a lot of fun. I like this two starships meeting up.
It is kind of groovy. I like it. We should what we need to do is I need to get all my other friends that are podcasting and get them all a ship so we can be a fleet.
Oh my gosh.
A fleet of truth and conspiracy with some horror of suspense. Anyway.
We're going to do it. Well, everyone, please check out Captain Doc Skinner over at 1028 Productions. It is totally worth the time. And like you said, he's got lots of videos out there to check out. And stuff.
That I do. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. I do appreciate it.
Sure thing. Thank you. Talk to you all later. Ciao.
Bye-bye.